Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season, and we are going to kick things off with getting the house in order, trying a couple new recipes, and tidying up. If you're new here, my name is Nicholsen. I love to do all things homemaking, and I'd love it if you would subscribe, and if you're returning, it is so great to see you. Okay guys, let's jump into this very busy day. Before I jump into this very busy day, I start all of my mornings with AG1. It is my go-to. I typically will have coffee, kind of get the kids settled, and then I always have a nice big glass of AG1. So as a person that is super busy and on the go, I have found it very hard to get all of my nutritional bases covered by vitamins and different things, especially gut health. And so for the last year, it's probably been longer than that, I've been using AG1 as my go-to every morning, and I get all the nutrition I need in one scoop. AG1 has all your daily vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, green superfoods, antioxidants, stress adaptogens, and digestive enzymes that you need daily, all in one simple drink. Some of the benefits I have experienced since taking AG1 has been a much smoother gut health. I have more focus and energy, my stress is lower, and I feel like it has really helped with my immune system. If you guys want to head to the link down below, or you can use the QR code here on the screen, they are offering a bottle of their vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 of their travel packs, which I take to work with me, I take them on trips with me, I take them everywhere, and then they send me a monthly supply every single month. I absolutely love AG1, and thank you so much to AG1 for sponsoring today's very busy day. And now that I've gotten ready, let's jump into this very beautiful day. So as many of you know, this year is going to be the year of learning, and today I'm going to be trying a new bread recipe. I wanted to see how hard it was to make a just basic kind of a milk loaf or like a white butter loaf. It was actually quite easy, and it also inspired me for tonight's recipe. I'm going to make this loaf and turn it into Texas toast, which is one of my favorite things. And then, as you know from our last video, I made some homemade butter, which turned out incredible. Now for Christmas, I did also make some butter, and unfortunately I used something called ultra pasteurized heavy whipping cream. It does not turn out the same. I mean, it's still delicious. It gets like a very whipped kind of profile to it, but not creamy like the butter that we've been making. So just a little tip I learned: don't use ultra pasteurized. It's best to get one that is just pasteurized. So before I get into my to-do list for the day, I wanted to let my bread rest. So today I am using a recipe out of one of my favorite cookbooks, Joshua Weissman's. It's the Unapologetic Cookbook. It has a lot of basic things in there, and it just, I really love that cookbook. I'll link it down below if you're interested. But that's the recipe we'll be working with today. So I got the milk heated up to about 110 degrees, and then I added the rapid active yeast in here, and I'm going to let that sit for a bit until it starts to get a little bubbly. Now, I did try to make this recipe earlier and use the wrong yeast, and so it really helps when you're learning things to actually read and follow directions. I learned that the hard way. So today we're redoing this recipe, and I'm so excited because it turns out beautiful. So while that's resting, I am going to be cleaning up the kitchen and kind of getting prepped for all the things we're doing. I got to clean the house today. I also am making a couple new recipes, one of which is going to be kind of like for a nice little lunch, and then the other one's going to be for dinner. I cannot wait to show you how those recipes turn out. They're so good, and they will also be linked down below as well. It's about to be the weekend after Christmas, and I'm starting to think about when I want to take all of our Christmas decor down. I think I'm going to slowly go room by room, starting in the kitchen just because I'm really needing a bit of a refresh in here, and then probably into the living room, dining room, and then we'll finish up in the front room with those big giant trees. That will be probably a whole day project. I'm not sure I'm going to film any of that just because it's kind of boring, if you ask me. I don't even want to do it. I wish I could have the team come and do it, but everybody's really busy this season, and so I have a couple weeks. The kids don't go back to school until mid-January, so I've got plenty of time to get that done. Tell us in the comments down below, have you already started taking your stuff down, or are you going to keep it up for a while and enjoy it through the new year? Now that the kitchen's nice and clean, it's time to dirty it up again. So I'm going to get my bread started. I kind of like to do this a little bit before lunchtime. That way it has plenty of time to rest and sit and rise. But it's one of the things I've been doing. It's kind of part of my new routine is getting bread prepped around, I want to say like 10:30, and then I pop it in the oven for dinner later. So it just gives it plenty of time to rise. So for lunch this particular day, I wanted to make this recipe I saw in Food and Wine magazine. I will link it down below, but these are acorn squash, and you basically just hollow them out, and then we're going to be putting in a kind of cream spinach in the middle. This recipe was so delicious. I did make some modifications, and it will be up on my new website coming out soon, but it is really, really delicious. So if you're looking for a perfect fall winter meal that is healthy and just really is delicious, this is definitely a go-to. So I'm going to prep these, throw them in the oven, and then we're going to get started on making our cream spinach as well as getting our bread prepped. I'd love to know down in the comments if you have any bread recipes you want to share with all of us, as I'm learning how to do different types. The artisan bread, I feel like I've kind of gotten down to a science. It's pretty easy, the one you do in the Dutch oven. This one turned out beautiful and perfect. I will probably continue to make this quite a bit, but I'd love to know in the comments down below what recipes, like bread recipes, you love, and what are kind of like your go-to types of. I have not started sourdough yet, but eventually we will. I ordered a sourdough start and it never showed up. So I got to go figure that out. We live near San Francisco, so there's a lot of really great artisan companies that sell sourdough starts. So I got to figure that out. Now that our acorn squash is roasted, I'm going to start to make the actual filling. So for this, I'm just taking a little bit of the squash. We're going to use that as a base to our spinach. It's kind of like a spinach. You could actually use this as a spinach dip, to be honest with you. But we're going to use this as the base, and then we're going to fill it back up into these acorn squash and then bake them for a little bit. I also had a little baguette I'm going to make, and then I'm also going to do a salad on the side. It's going to be a delicious lunch. I love this time of year because our family is all home, and I can make multiple meals a day, and it's just a wonderful way to spend the afternoon together. It was fun. My kids enjoyed this meal, so did my husband. Where typically we would be, at school or work or what have you. We were all able to enjoy a really nice lunch, and then we're going to have a very good simple dinner. I'm just doing a lasagna soup. So while our spinach filling is resting, it's so easy to make. Again, this would be really, really good with like a baguette for just a dip. We're going to get our bread in the oven. This was such an easy recipe. I was so surprised. I happen to already have a bread making tin, so I'm just going to put it in that, and we're going to go ahead and put that in the oven. I'm going to fill up our acorn squash with that delicious filling. Just pop that in the oven for a little bit, just to keep it warm. It's already all fully cooked. And then I'm going to make a nice, this is actually what I originally had planned for today's lunch for my husband and I, was just a nice autumn salad. But we're going to be having the little acorns as well, the acorn squash as well, which is super, super good. All you have to do is ladle in a little bit to each one and then pop it in the oven, and that's all it took. It was delicious. I think you guys would really, really love it. For today's salad, I'm just going to chop up some persimmons, some pears. I also have some candied walnuts, and I also found in my refrigerator some pomegranates, and I looked up a great recipe for a pomegranate vinaigrette that turned out really delicious. It was also from Food and Wine magazine, their Thanksgiving edition. Really good, really great flavor. Highly recommend checking that out. You could also put some feta in this. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could add to this salad, but I just love it. I love fall, like stone fruits. I just think they're so delicious. You can add a little cayenne pepper if you want to spice this up, and or some smoked paprika. Really, really delicious. I thought I would give it a little bit of a taste test before I served it. The kids ate it and loved it, which was always a shocker because you never know with them. And my husband, we all loved it. So if you're looking for a really warm comfort food for the winter time or even fall, this was a really, really great recipe, and I will have it linked down below from Food and Wine magazine. The salad is delicious. It's a go-to. Usually this time of year, I always do salads that way. But now that lunch is over, I'm going to sit down and start to plan my week ahead. I want to look through a bunch of my old recipes. While I was looking for some things, I decided to pull out. My mom has a bunch of like her handwritten recipe cards here I keep in the bookshelf, and I haven't actually looked at them since she passed away, and I thought it'd be wonderful to kind of go through them. So we're going to go through those together and just kind of put together what we're going to be cooking for the remainder of the week, and just kind of getting my head around some new recipe ideas inspired by her collection. I love her old cookbooks. I'll show you some of them here. They're just so fun. A lot of times I find these recipes to be a little bit bland for my taste, but they're still fun to look at and get inspired nonetheless. Now that I'm done putting together the recipes I want to work on for the next week ahead and gave Henry some much needed lovies, we're going to head into the kitchen. I'm going to start prepping for dinner, and then I also need to go clean around the house. The house has been a disaster. I do notice that when the kids are all home, whether it be for weekends, holiday breaks, or summer, the house tends to get messier a lot faster and just, I would say, slightly unorderly. I'd like things to be pretty orderly, and when they're here, it just, things are out of place and moving around a lot. So we have a couple things to do there. Our bread is looking beautiful. I cannot wait to show you how it turns out. For dinner, I'm going to make a very simple dish. Lasagna soup is one of our favorites here in our family. I've shared it on my channel before, but it's just such an easy thing to make, and it's so delicious. So once we get that started, I will set the table. We have formal dinner at our house, so kids, we all sit down at the same time and eat together. So I need to get the table set, and at this particular time, our bread is done. And so the thought with this bread tonight was to cut larger slices and make Texas toast, which is something my mom used to always make, but she did it from the frozen loaves, and it was the best thing ever. I loved it. So tonight we're going to have a Texas toast instead of for garlic bread. So we're going to do that. I need to tidy up the living room, and of course we still need to go and turn all of our Christmas trees on because it's starting to get darker and I can tell that night is upon us. So this is the time of night when I really like to turn all our Christmas trees on, get the fireplace going. I had some Christmas music on, which I will most likely listen to through the end of the year, because honestly I felt like even though I decorated at the end of October, I still feel like Christmas, the feeling of Christmas, it didn't last very long this year. And I think I would like it for just one more week. So I'm going to probably keep most of my big stuff up and continue to listen to Christmas music and enjoy everything up until the end of this year. Now that I have a couple, maybe 2 hours before it's dinner time, I want to straighten up the house. We're going to start here in our living room. I just like to keep things tidy. I don't know about you, but I feel like if things aren't kept slightly tidy throughout the day, the house gets almost unbearable to clean and gets very overwhelming for me. So oftentimes I like to just pop into each room and just do just general tidying up. And then a couple days a week, I will do specific areas of the house, a deep clean. So each month, every room in the house will have been deep cleaned to some degree. Not all on the same day. Obviously, that would be a lot to undertake, but just room by room, moving the couch, cleaning underneath it, mopping, cleaning the windows, all of that stuff you should do at least once a month, while daily just doing some tidying. I feel like always keeps our house looking, feeling, and smelling fresh. Otherwise, it just gets really overwhelming. If you want to give Pepe a hug and say hi, you can give this video a thumbs up.
One of the first projects I have slated for January is to actually declutter and deep clean the pantry. And I'm thinking about that as I'm making, kind of setting the table. I love setting the table. It's one of my favorite things to do. And all of my napkins and like napkin rings and plates and stuff are in there, but I feel like it's really unorganized. And I noticed that when I pack up my stuff, sometimes some of those things go into storage. So this year, one of those big projects are to kind of organize everything in a place where I can see it so that we can enjoy it. Because I feel like when I don't know that I have something, like I just found a ton of Christmas napkins that I would have loved to use this year had I known where they were. They weren't in my pantry where they should have been. And that was kind of a bummer. I hate when that happens, when, just like a lack of organization leads to not using things. So that's one of the big projects we have among many other things. So for this room, I really need to get my bed made. I need to get the laundry started and just overall kind of declutter all of these spaces, just because, again, everything's just piling up as the kids are home for the holidays. Now that I have the house somewhat tidied up, I'm going to finish my soup that's been simmering here for quite some time. I like to add in a whipped cream. This whipped cream cheese, is my favorite to use. This recipe calls for ricotta cheese, but kids aren't a huge fan of it, and honestly, this is so much creamier and richer in flavor and texture. So where you see ricotta cheese in recipes, I recommend switching it out for the whipped cream cheese because it's so good. I'm going to add mozzarella and some Parmesan and let that cheesy goodness do what it does. And then we're going to go ahead and cut up the bread. I'm excited to make this Texas toast because not only are we making it from the bread that I made, but we're also using the butter that I made as well. So it is 100% homemade except for the garlic salt, which I don't think I'm going to go into making my own spices anytime soon. I'm definitely not a homesteader by any measure and don't intend to be or have interest in that, even though I find it very fascinating. I think that would be beyond my skill set. But for these little wins, I'll take it. This turned out really, really delicious, and I was really proud of myself for making this all from scratch.
I'm so excited to get dinner on the table and enjoy a lovely evening with my family. I loved the recipes we made today. They will all be linked down below. They were so yummy, and we were able to make some fresh bread today, get the house tidied up, meal plan for the week ahead, and I just can't wait to enjoy the rest of the evening with my family. So I'm gonna go, but I'll see you in the next video very soon. We have so much to tackle in the new year, and I'm so excited we're doing it together. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. Hope you had a wonderful holiday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!